such as corruption, power abuse, and money laundering cases involving high-profile politicians such as Datuk Sri Najib, Datuk Sri Tengku Adnan. Usually, these attract a lot of attention and sometimes even criticism. Is there any comments that the judiciary would like to make about this? Because the trend observed on social media is usually social media users coming to their own deductions on how things would go. So I suppose this has to do with issues of image and whatnot. So I would like to hear what your ladyship has to say on this. That's the first question.
Thank you. By convention, we do not respond to whatever is being said about us or about our decisions in the social media, because our experience shows us that whatever we say would not make any difference. So our policy has always been, the public is entitled to their own views, so they can say or express their views. And we will just discharge our duties as per the law. So that much is clear. So we wouldn't be making any comments in relation to what people are saying about us, either in the social media or anywhere else. Thank you.
That's my first question, Your Ladyship, and my second question and my last question. For accused persons in high-profile cases, again, such as Datuk Sri Najib, making Facebook posts about their cases. Now back to those who are accused making statements about their cases publicly or getting their lawyers to hold press conferences about their cases. Would there be a possibility of such actions or such remarks possibly becoming contempt of court or sub judice? Some thoughts on this, Your Ladyship?
Yeah, of course, it depends on the extent of the statements that they made. But yes, it could subject them to contempt proceedings. But then again, I think we are all very clear here that, contempt proceedings are there to protect the image, the judiciary as an institution. But then again, we are also very clear that proceedings is to be taken very sparingly. So again, coming back to whoever the accused persons are, whatever they want to say about their cases, they want to tell the whole world about their side of the story to us. Basically, it doesn't really matter, because what matters is what are the evidence that has been led in court, and that would be the basis for our decisions in respect of those cases. And I think insofar of the action of the lawyers are concerned, they are also subject to the Code of Ethics for the lawyers under the Legal Profession Act. Thank you.
Thank you, Leadership.
Yang memohon beliau. Jadi ini adalah elephant in the room. So kalau boleh mereka, sebab kita dah banyak kali dah dengar. Betul ke?
Memang kita dengar daripada television tu pun is what the former PM is saying, that he was approached. But none of us has been approached. Saya sendiri boleh kata I have not been approached. And I don't think my colleagues here pun have been approached. So I think basically people know that hakim-hakim ini membuat keputusan berdasarkan keterangan. We cannot get away daripada prinsip itu. Itu prinsip terasnya. Jadi kalau sesiapa pun menghubungi kita, kalau saya kata, tapi what I can say at this point is tidak ada sesiapa pun menghubungi saya secara peribadi. I don't know about the rest, but I suspect also tidak ada untuk meminta pertolongan begitu dan begini. Kalau apa yang disebut oleh bekas Perdana Menteri kita itu, yang saya faham daripada ucapan Mr. A.J. Khalidas adalah orang menghubungi dia, tapi tidak ada dinyatakan di mana-mana dia pula menghubungi Badan Kehakiman. So yang itu kita kena fahamlah ya. Okey. Kita tak boleh nak kata, I cannot say. Saya sendiri tidak boleh nak speculate bagi pihak orang lain. But let me say just this. Sesiapa pun jika ada yang menghubungi kita, we will just say, there's nothing much I can do. The matter is in the court. The judges will decide according to the evidence and the law. Itu jawapan kita. Jika pun ada.
Semalam ada kes yang di Mahkamah Syariah tentang remaja di penjara dan sebab curi tabung masjid. So Mahkamah Persekutuan ada bagi pandangan untuk review balik kes tu supaya memberikan hukuman komuniti ataupun jaminan di bawah CPC lah.
Kes baru semalam ya?
Semalam kes baru yang kes yang
So
remaja
persoalannya sama ada Mahkamah Tinggi akan
review balik pada
semak.
kes tu. Semak balik,
Itu
beri
memang ada kemungkinan boleh sebulan pada hakim Mahkamah Tinggi masing-masing jika dia mendapat tahu sama ada melalui laporan akhbar atau ada daripada mana-mana sumber, jika dia berpendapat bahawa hukuman yang dijatuhkan itu agak berlebihan ataupun kurang sesuai dari segi peruntukan undang-undang yang ada, maka dia dibolehkan di bawah undang-undang untuk memanggil rekod kes tersebut dan membuat keputusan sewajarnya berdasarkan kuasanya untuk menyemak keputusan Mahkamah Magistrate.
Boleh tanya tentang satu praktis direktif yang dikeluarkan oleh Mahkamah Persekutuan tentang leave applications. When you say that people have access to justice, tapi saya difahamkan pada satu sidang mahkamah baru-baru ni, sekiranya leave dismiss, the minimum cost is 20,000 imposed by the court, by the federal court. So I think it's quite a hefty cost for people to access to justice. So maybe Yang Arif Tun boleh explain tentang ni.
Kita sebenarnya tidak ada jumlah yang tetap untuk kos ni sebab secara prinsipnya apa-apa perintah tentang kos peringkat mahkamah mana sekalipun adalah di bawah budi bicara hakim yang berkenaan. Jadi kalau kita bersidang di Mahkamah Persekutuan secara panel 3 orang lah umpamanya, itu adalah budi bicara hakim-hakim bertiga itu untuk menentukan kos berapa. 20,000 yang Encik sebutkan tadi bukan satu jumlah yang kita telah tetapkan dalam mana-mana arahan, tidak. Ada yang saya sendiri pernah mengawardkan kos sebanyak 30,000, ada juga yang kita pernah award 10,000, ada yang langsung tiada memberi award kos, ada juga yang 50,000. Jadi pendek kata, kos ini akan kekal sebagai suatu perkara yang merupakan budi bicara hakim atau panel yang berkenaan. Tak ada, kita tak ada buat practice direction tentang kos ni. Tak ada. Mungkin di mana tu yang didapat? Bukan practice direction yang saya keluarkan. Ada mungkin satu lagi perkara yang kita boleh jelaskan di sini adalah apa-apa jumlah yang kita perintahkan untuk kos juga setelah mendengar hujahan daripada kedua-dua pihak. Kadang-kadang satu pihak minta kos yang terlampau tinggi, ya, yang kalah tu pula memberi kos yang terlampau, menawarkan kos yang terlampau kurang. Jadi terpulang pada itu sebabnya adalah terletak di bawah budi bicara hakim atau panel berkenaan untuk menentukan kos. Tapi having said that, lepas berkata begitu pun saya fikir kalau datang ke Mahkamah Persekutuan komplain tentang kos 20,000 pun agak tidak munasabah jugalah, sebab di Mahkamah Tinggi pun kadang-kadang bila kalah sesuatu permohonan kosnya sekitar 20,000, 30,000. Jadi you datang kepada apex court, ya, jadi dari segi kemunasabahannya tentu sekali lah kosnya sepatut lebih tinggi daripada mahkamah-mahkamah di bawah. Because pihak-pihak akan melantik peguam-peguam yang senior. Kemudian kita di Mahkamah Persekutuan pun sepatutnya tidak mendengar permohonan-permohonan yang remeh-remeh. Jadi bila kita terpaksa mendengar dan memutuskan permohonan yang agak remeh, tentu sekali kita juga terpaksa memikirkan kos untuk masa kehakiman yang telah kita habiskan untuk mendengar perkara-perkara yang kadang-kadang tidak sepatutnya pun difailkan.
Tindakan untuk mungkin mengelakkan permohonan-permohonan yang remeh yang Arif kata.
Tidak, iyalah memang kita harap begitu, tapi tidak juga berlaku begitu. Sebagai contoh, saya boleh katakan bahawa permohonan untuk semakan umpamanya review upon review di Mahkamah Persekutuan. Walaupun kita bagi kos yang tinggi, mereka masih memfailkan permohonan review. Jadi dengan kata lain, kalau sesuatu pihak itu hendak mengemukakan apa-apa permohonan ke mahkamah, saya tidak fikir ada apa-apa alasan, terutamanya alasan isu kos yang disebutkan tadi, akan menjadi penghalang. Dengan kata lain, if they want to file something, they will just file. Dan di pihak kita tidak pernah memikirkan bahawa kita dengan kos yang, walaupun saya katakan tadi kita tidak tetapkan, tapi kita tidak memikirkan bahawa kita perlu menetapkan kos yang dalam jumlah yang tertentu untuk menghalang pihak-pihak dari datang ke mahkamah. Sebab memang pihak-pihak akan datang walau apa pun. And in terms of dari segi permohonan untuk leave, ya tadi Cik sebut, sebenarnya dari segi undang-undang pun, dia punya threshold is agak tinggi sebenarnya. Jadi kalau kita mengikut undang-undang pun tidak sepatutnya setiap kes yang kalah di Mahkamah Rayuan perlu naik ke Mahkamah Persekutuan secara automatiknya. Tidak sepatutnya begitu sebab undang-undang adalah jelas prinsipnya hanya kes-kes yang melibatkan prinsip undang-undang yang pertama kali nak didengar di Mahkamah Persekutuan, itu hanyalah yang boleh difailkan secara strict, secara prinsipnya. Tapi but again lah, it's not happening. Semua orang memfailkan permohonan dan kita pun bila difailkan saja permohonan, kita kena dengar.
Good afternoon to
Yes.
I would like to ask you about the matter on the Court of Appeal.
Yeah.
You see, the Court of Appeal actually is an apex court for the subordinate court, magistrate and sessions court, and it's also an intermediate court for matters arising from the High Court. So there are a lot of cases that comes to the court, and one of the reasons is actually, lawyers are saying that judgments are not provided for matters arising from the subordinate courts. I think partly it's because the judges are bogged down because they have to write judgments, for murder and 39B cases, So I would like to know actually, are there any steps taken to increase number of judges in the Court of Appeal or increase the number of sittings, so that cases can be disposed of, Thank you.
Yeah, we are in the midst. In fact, we are in the midst of appointing more Court of Appeal judges. Dan perhaps dalam masa terdekatlah kita akan dapat finalisekan urusan itu. Yeah, we will be able to see the appointments coming soon after going through the relevant processes. And of course, as you were saying, the workload is so much there in the Court of Appeal, but we have, as you can also, if you recall from my speech just now, that we have been saying the Court of Appeal is not only sitting in full capacity physically, but also virtually. So in fact, it's not only, physically only 6 courtrooms, meaning 6 panels, meaning 18 judges. But I suspect at one time, at one given time, there are more than 20 judges sitting in many panels. So we are in the midst of addressing this backlog urgently, and of course we are also mindful of the fact that since the Court of Appeal is the apex court for cases coming up from the Sessions Court, and of course those cases are also important like CBT, criminal breach of trust. So the all right, coming back to the Court of Appeal, we are in the midst of appointing more judges to the Court of Appeal. And in terms of writing of grounds for the cases which came up from the Sessions Court, I think the PCA will be engaging with the judges because we just need to remind them. Some of them do write, but perhaps the others are, as you were saying, bogged down with the more urgent matters which are pending in the federal court, of which we need them to write the grounds, because without their grounds, then the cases in the federal court cannot proceed. But of course, we are looking into this. Hopefully, with the more judges, yes, we can have more panels. But even now, without the appointment of new judges, we are already sitting in a maximum capacity. So I invite Tan Sri Rohana, if there's anything else that you should add.
Due to the virtual hearing that the Court of Appeal or all the judiciary has engaged, we actually roll out all the 24 members of the Court of Appeal to practically sit every day. So you will have like 7 to 8 panel a day running simultaneously. So you can imagine the amount of work that they have to do. But generally, the Court of Appeal will be mandated to write judgment whenever they overrule the decisions of the High Court. Because if they concur with the judgment of the High Court, that means the parties are very aware of why the decisions are made. And when the Court of Appeal affirm, it means that they agree with the High Court. So in those situations, the judgment becomes not mandatory only if appeal goes up to the Federal Court. So as much as possible, they will try and write, but whenever they affirm the decision, it's taken that they agree with the judgment of the High Court. Okay, thank you.
Criminal cases, you see, the difference between criminal cases and civil cases is there is not much proceedings apart from the hearing proper and appeal proper in the criminal cases. Like for the civil cases, there will be interlocutory applications, this and that. So that's why, you know, we have those processes. And I don't think the filing system, the filing fees is not applicable for criminal matters. It's basically, yeah. They don't pay. You see, when a case is being registered in court for criminal cases, we just have the charge. They don't pay for the charge. They don't pay for the charge. And when they appeal, for example, from the decision of the High Court to the Court of Appeal, they just file. They need to file. They also need not file the Record of Appeal because that is handled by the registry. So there's nothing to no payment there involved. So that would be my answer. Thank you very much. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Lepas ni makan. Saya makan.